once in a while when I'm modeling, I'll put a seamless texture on the model, and sometimes I go and download those textures from the internet. Other times I make them real quick. And what I wanted to do is I wanted to show you how to make a seamless texture real quick and easy using Photoshop. So I've created a square area here. This is a 512 by 512 canvas. And all I'm going to do is just fill this in with some color, create some kind of filtered image, graphic, or whatever. And then we'll go and make it seamless. So for now, anyway, I'm just going to fill this. Go to the filter gallery. And let's see. I don't know. I don't want to put a whole lot of thought into this, but maybe something like this, where if you wanted to make this seamless, it'd be a little bit of a challenge, but not that hard to demonstrate for this little tutorial. Okay, so something like that is fine. So try to imagine you've got your own graphics here, whatever they are. Maybe it's maybe you have some wrought iron graphic or wood grain or something like that, and you want to make this seamless. I'm going to show you the long way to do this first, and then I'll show you an easy way using a tool in Photoshop that makes this a little bit easier. So the long and hard way, first I'm going to select all and cut this and paste it back into the document so that I have this information saved as its own layer. We're going to go and hide this background layer, and we'll use the rectangle marquee tool and select about half. It doesn't have to be right down the center. It can even be off to the side like this, but about half of this, and cut that out. And then I'm going to hold it on control, which is basically the same thing as choosing this tool right here, holding it on control and snapping that. By the way, I've let go of control now, snapping that over to the corner, and then control V to paste. Again, holding on control to grab that with the move tool, let go of control and snap it back over there into that corner. So essentially what I've done is I've moved the right side over to the left and the left side over to the right, and you can see this seam right here. That's what we want to get rid of. That's why we call this seamless. Now I can see that seam and I can edit it so that it looks like it's not there. We can cover up that seam blemish. To do that, let's go ahead and merge both of these together. Let's zoom in so we can see this a little bit better. And I'm going to use the clone stamp tool. That's this tool right here. Off to the side, not along the seam, but off to the side of this, hold it on Alt and take a little sample. Now you can see that wherever I move my mouse, that little sample is going with the cursor. And I'm basically bringing this off to the side at the same height, and then I'm going to start dragging this along there, and it creates a nice little cover-up effect. And you can kind of just brush over this to hide that seam like that. It works with a graphic like this. It doesn't work with everything, but go in here and experiment with that. We'll go and repeat the same thing vertically. So we'll go and use the rectangle again, grab this time half this way. So I'm going to cut that, hold it on control, let go of control, snap that up to the top. Make sure it snaps to the corners. I'll paste that in. Again, hold control for a second, just long enough to grab hold of it, and then snap that to the bottom. We'll go ahead and merge these together and then get rid of that seam. We'll use the clone stamp again. This time I'm grabbing a sample from up here. So Alt and then left click to grab that sample, and then bring the mouse down here and just kind of swipe over this. Now there is another way that you could do this without clone stamp. Let me undo this and I'll show you. If you hold in on your mouse here, you can do a pattern stamp. Or actually there's another tool too. Let me think about this. Right here, what is this called? The healing brush. This is another good one right here. So the healing brush tool, I could just go straight over it like that. One thing I don't like about the healing brush, I find it a little bit unpredictable. I'm going to do the same thing I did with the clone stamp and Alt click on this and then bring it again down to the same width or whatever, and then kind of brush over it like this. It does a good job. I mean, both of these tools are good, but I tend to favor the clone stamp tool. I think it's a little bit better, at least for the stuff that I've done in the past. So something like that. choose your weapon, choose your preference, go and figure this out. Try to get rid of any hint of any line that you could see, something like that. And then now you have a seamless texture. Now that's great. This technically is a seamless texture. That means that anything that connects this edge, so if you were to wrap this around an object and the object was bigger than this area, it's going to wrap from this edge to that edge over there, and again from this edge to that edge. You wouldn't be able to see any marks. I didn't do a really great job, and you can see a lot of blemishes and stuff like that in here. You could take your time and do a better job with this, of course. Let me show you the same thing, but this time I'll use a quicker tool, okay? So let's go ahead and create a new layer. I'm going to fill this in. We'll go to the filter gallery all over again and repeat what I just did. So this is not a seamless texture. So this time, instead of cutting this and dragging it around, stuff like that, we can go to the filter tool in Photoshop, go to other, and put it on offset. Now, I know this is a 512 by 512 image, so I want to take about half of 512, so 256 by 256. And now you can see that cut right down the middle in both axes like that. And now I can go in here with my brush or my clone stamp or whatever and kind of clean this up like that. And that's about it. So you could spend your time, like I said, and make this look a lot better, but that's enough for you to get the idea how to make a seamless texture in Photoshop. I imagine you could probably follow some of these same rules, if you will, in other software, but I use Photoshop. If you're using GIMP, please, I don't use GIMP. Please don't ask me how to do this in GIMP. I pay $10 a month for Photoshop. I don't think it's a lot of money for something that I use every single day of my life. So hopefully this helps some of you guys. I'll see you in the next one.